How are you doing? If you are like me, you are probably wanting to stay on top of everything that's happening in the world, but also in a space where you need to protect your own mental health. There's a lot going on in the world right now. There's strife, there's war, there is rhetoric that is concerning, there are storms, there is the loss of life, there's just a lot going on. And if you're like me and you've been working in the WordPress space for a long period of time, and I still have many friends in that space, the news that is happening there can be very unsettling. When there is uncertainty in it can take you away from the things that you want to create. When you are in fear states, you want to protect yourself. You want to go into the secure decision-making mode where you are setting your sights on things that are sure bets. Insecurity and fear can cause a lot of problems, not just for you as an individual, but if you are leading a team of people, you have to be sensitive to the fact that your entire team is also under the barrage of a lot of fear-based communication. In this video, we're going to talk about how you can manage all of this. We're going to talk about some of the pitfalls that happen when large-scale events disrupt the security and the vision of an organization and what you can do as a leader to get your team back on purpose. We're also going to talk about how you can dive deep into who you really are. Find your seat of security so that you can make better decisions for your organization going forward. If you have not yet taken Motivation Code, this is first step, is self-knowledge, knowing who you really are. For me personally, I am a visionary. That's what my primary motivational dimension is. So I like big projects with big vision and big dreams and big purpose. I like to make an impact. My secondary dimension is influencer, and my tertiary dimension is as an achiever. So put all of those things together, and I like big projects that do big things. But when you have big projects, those things can be a little risky. So if I want to feel motivated, I can't have fear and insecurity holding me back. This is why this topic is so important to me, and I want to dive into it. So let's get started. Now, I don't need to tell you all of the things that are happening in the world, but this is not like for right now, October 2024. This is a video that you can use no matter what is going on in the world, because uncertain times always happen. There is always uncertainty at some level or another. We just have certain times in history where uncertainty is higher. Those who can manage risk and understand the risk and still set those big visionary goals, those are the people who tend to be winners. So if you are able to manage uncertainty in an organization and for yourself, you can come out on top. When all of the chess pieces on the board are being rearranged, this is a time for bigger opportunity, but you can't be in a fear state or an uncertain state of mind in order to see those kinds of opportunities. You have to have more trust in yourself, trust in your people, and trust in that knowledge that everything is going to work out for the world and for humanity's highest good. Kind of hard when you turn on the news, but if you can manage that within yourself, you can set yourself up for greater opportunity. That's why this is so important. When things are uncertain, when you think that your team is going to be laid off, you start making very secure decisions. You start turning your attention inward within an organization, making sure that the higher ups get communication about the value that your team is contributing, rather than going out into the market and trying new things. Innovation does not happen in a fear state. It leads to increased stress and anxiety, and that can lower not only productivity, but it can lower your team's ability to focus and get things done. They tend to retreat to safe spaces and familiar practices rather than trying new things. They don't even necessarily want to take that family trip this year. Everybody kind of shuts down a little bit when there is uncertainty. There is no creative problem solving. If you're dealing with big problems, it's hard to find a creative solution when you are in fear states. Intrinsic motivation just lowers when people are feeling fear and uncertainty and doubt. You can't set anything for the future because the future might not even exist if your team is fearful and thinking that maybe they might all be laid off. In addition to all of this stifling of innovation, this heightened fear of failure can also lead to procrastination, avoiding new challenges, and everybody takes a hit. When there's uncertainty, when there's doubt, everybody's self-confidence, not only in their team and in the organization, but in themselves starts to take a hit. This kind of feeling can lead to self-fulfilling prophecies where people start feeling doubt in themselves and their team, and that doubt fulfills itself. Doubt is something that we're always constantly having to protect ourselves against. For a leader, it's very important to understand the psychological forces at work for your team and to support them. Now, one of the great things that I love about Motivation Code and for a leader to take their team through a process like this is because the people who find out their intrinsic motivation, they find out they're a visionary or they're an achiever or they find out that they're an optimizer, they can then stop putting pressure on themselves to be something that they're not. For me personally, I am a visionary, but I have high respect for the optimizers and orchestrators of this world. A great project manager makes me feel secure so that I can set a great big vision for the future. So when I have that behind me and someone supporting me in that kind of role, then I can dream really big. But in the past, where I haven't had the resources behind me in order to have a full-time project manager, I do this myself. And it's not my primary motivational dimension. I'm not that great at it. Doesn't feel good to me. I don't feel on purpose when I am doing that kind of work, but I see where it is valuable. If your team is under duress, they do this to themselves. You might have a visionary on your team who knows big things need to happen in organization to achieve that big goal, but they might put pressure on themselves to be something that they're not in order to achieve what they want to achieve. When they are in fear, uncertainty, and doubt, when they are not feeling certain about the future of an organization, their market, or even the world, they might shut down where their sweet spot is. They stop being visionary because they know what needs to happen. When you can uncover what those true gems of personal motivation are in each of your team members and support them in that, then you can lead them to a place where they are putting all of their energy where they shine and support them where they don't. They can let go of the pressure that they're putting on themselves, the doubt that they have in themselves because they aren't being something that they value, even though it isn't something where they are most adept. Now, as a leader and even as an employee, it's really important to focus on what you have control over and what your purpose is. Now, in the WordPress space, there is a lot of turmoil happening. There is lawsuit happening between behemoth organizations. But for the average WordPress user, it doesn't really matter. The software is still the best way to get online. Focusing on the users of the software is where most of people need to be putting their attention. If people are making decisions about long-range plans of what's going to happen with WordPress rather than long-range plans of actually helping people get their websites online, this is where the focus needs to be. You need to focus on what you can control and what your purpose really is. What is your market goal? What is the vision and the mission of the organization? Take away all of the uncertainty, and it's important for leaders to provide certainty in times where there is a lot of uncertainty in the world. If a leader can provide certainty about an organization's mission, about the market that you're serving, about your customers, and what is expected of a team, that certainty can be something that makes all of the fear, uncertainty, and doubt that's out in the world just fall away. People want something that they can put their trust into. And if you as a leader can help your people put their trust in you, you are going to win. But you as a leader need to control your own emotions. You as a leader need to control your own vision. And you have to get rid of your own fear, uncertainty, and doubt so that you can get focused. Because if you're feeling all of that pressure as well, you're not going to be able to find those opportunities that exist when there is uncertainty in the world. If you're too focused on risk and protection, then you're not going to find out where those opportunities are. So as a leader, job one, get yourself centered in your own purpose and the things that you can control. And two, provide that certainty to your team so that they can focus on what they need to do in order to fulfill the mission of the organization. If you can get those things right, you're going to win in times of uncertainty and doubt. It's really important for leaders to really be open and understanding and also empathetic that everybody on their teams is going through sort of emotional turmoil, when there's a lot going on in the world, when you can be empathetic but still provide that certainty, but also provide some vulnerability as well. It's really important for leaders to not fake it. You can't fake that you're certain about the future. You have to acknowledge that there is uncertainty out there in the world, and you have to explain what your organization and what you as a leader are doing about that. When you can do that from a place of vulnerability and saying, I don't really know what's going to happen, but we have these opportunities. And if we can innovate and meet these types of opportunities, then we're going to win. When you can do that and still being very honest about what exists and also listening to your people. It's really important for leaders to understand who their people really are, understand what motivates their people so they can understand the words underneath the words. So a report might come to you as a leader and say, I'm feeling this about this particular situation. I'm feeling uncertainty. I am not thinking that we should do this. We need to protect our assets. We need to diversify in this way, whatever they're saying. And they are coming to you and you understand what their motivational dimension is. You can hear the words behind the words. What are they really saying so that you can fully hear them and not make assumptions. So you can hear them and say, okay, this is what I think I'm hearing you say. Could it be because of this? Or is it possibly that? So you can get clarity. When you understand the motivational dimensions of the people that are coming to you with their concerns, you can better flesh out opportunities. Also, when you have that kind of open door policy where people can come to you and communicate what they are fearful about, you're going to uncover additional data that's going to help you make better decisions. Because the more data you have and the more you understand the people that are bringing that data, and you can understand those intrinsic motivations of what they're trying to say to you, the better of a leader you're going to be because you're getting more data from your people. But if you add to someone's fear, uncertainty, and doubt by not wanting to hear any kind of opinions that might be different than yours, if you telegraph too strongly, this is the way we're going, and I don't want to hear any dissenting views, everybody's going to start shutting up. They're going to start closing their mouths and they're going to keep their opinions to themselves because they'd rather not have conflict with you. They would have to have extreme confidence in what's going on and risk themselves in order to bring any kind of contradictory data to you. You don't want to put your people, especially your best people, in that role where they feel incredible risk in bringing dissenting opinions to you. Establish those communication lines of trust. Ultimately, the decisions are going to be yours, but wouldn't you rather have all of the information at hand? And sometimes those dissenting voices, the ones that are bringing you things that you maybe don't want to hear, those might be the people that are your greatest asset. They may be your greatest leaders within your organization. Hear those people out and maintain that relationship, even if you disagree. Disagreeing and conflict within an organization is normal. And in times of uncertainty and doubt, it's going to happen even more than you might think because everybody feels strongly about the direction forward. You, as a leader, must be able to hear what is fear-based thinking, what is opportunity-based thinking, and what is safety-based thinking, and make the best decision for the organization. You are not making a decision based on what is best for you as a leader. You're making a decision based on what is best for an organization. And that means best for the market, the people that you serve, and the people within your organization that you also serve as a leader. When there's a lot of uncertainty and doubt, there are a lot of words thrown around, and being able to pull out those pearls and take those bits of knowledge into your decision-making process are critical to your success as a leader. The great thing about uncertainty, the great thing about these challenges is that they're happening for a reason. There is a wake-up call just waiting to happen. It is not happening to destroy you. It is happening to bring you to a new level of empowerment. It's bringing you to a place where you get to remember who you really are at your core. There's this theory that is called pronoia, and it is positive paranoia, right? It is the theory that everything is conspiring to work out in your favor, whether it is a family member's illness, whether it is financial strife in the world. Whatever is happening is a call to you to be more of yourself. It's scary sometimes, especially if you've had situations in your past where you were met with resistance or conflict when you were fully yourself and you expressed your opinions. It tends to cause people to shut down. When there's uncertainty, lots of people shut down. But uncertainty, if you can change it around and think of it more as an opportunity for you to design a life that better suits who you really are, then you're going to make decisions that are going to create a life that you've always wanted to have. Motivation code is a part of that. If you know who you really are, you're going to make decisions based on who you really are rather than what other people want from you, because that is going to lead you to a place of fulfillment. So it's just one of those tools that sort of takes uncertainty out of the equation. No longer is self-knowledge unknown. When there's a lot of uncertainty in your life, you want to reduce uncertainty, have more knowns, less variables out in the world. When you can take away the variable of who you really are and understand what really motivates you, it makes decision making about the most important variable in the world, you, yourself, makes decisions about what's right for you so much easier. I hope this has helped. There's a lot going on in the world right now. When there's a lot going on, it's best to shut off a lot of the distractions and the noise and focus on the one thing that you know, and that's yourself. And if you don't know yourself, motivation code can help.